Hello, everyone. It's me, Cassandra from the Horrorcraft Podcast,
Kylee.
and we have a special guest, Brewster. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing, Cass? How you doing, Kylie?
We're doing
Good.
good. We're excited to have you on. If you don't know Brewster's voice, Brewster is quote unquote my other coworker, one of my other coworkers on Talkin Tapes. And if you have not catched an episode of that, we have a really good time or a really bad time. I think we're all still traumatized from the vampire episode. We also traumatized Mary with the vampire episode. Even Mary was like, "No, this is bad." But
Oh God,
still,
I missed out. I don't need you. You've traumatized me enough in my life, Cass. I love you, but
I was about to say we made you watch Bermuda Tentacles by yourself. I think you were traumatized enough.
what about that snakes Reddit story?
Oh my god. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. That was bad. There for those of you who missed it, and Brewster, you don't know the context behind it, but we did a Reddit story at one point in time where this guy they were into exotic animals, and without telling his wife, they went from having a corn snake to a Burmese python, and it was literally like getting it like it could eat cats, and they had a small child, and it was like a whole thing, and he had like gaslit her the whole way through about different details, and it was just bad. And we had already done the anaconda episode prior to that, so like, and Kylie lives in a holler in South Ohio. And she had a huge snake at the beginning of summer, like a huge snake. Like she had to get a gun and shoot it. Um, and it was bad. So we were haunted by snakes. So after that, we're done. No more snakes right now.
Okay.
So
No, they are fucking approaching.
they are. So you probably get more content about snakes in the summer, and we'll show you the snakes behind the scenes that approach in Kylie's little creek in the back of her house. But that being said, that ties into what we're doing today. So in the spirit of February and love, we have to be a little off kilter, just like we were at Thanksgiving talking about family drama. Well, love and dating and horror stories. Oh my. We are getting into the thick of it this month and talking about things that take a pretty dramatic turn when it comes to love and dating and relationships. So we are super excited. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cue the fucking music. So let's do it.
Welcome to the Horrorcraft Podcast.
Okay, we are back. Thank you once again, to TIKI for doing that wonderful introduction. TIKI is also our other co-worker along with Rick for Talking Tapes. And we love it. It is definitely the definition of feminine rage. So thank you.
Fast.
Yes. Especially him. He knew that I needed the Hex Girls in there at some point.
Yes.
So thank you, Tiki, for making my Scooby-Doo loving heart work.
Well, we're all Hex Girls fans here. I do as well own the Witch's Ghost.
Oh, yes. The Hex Girls are just, we want to cosplay as them one time.
You should
And
do it.
yeah, it just hasn't happened yet, but we're going to do it. So, we've all had crushes growing up, right? That the one that got away, or we think it's the one that gets away at the time. But what happens when you crash out your relationship for the sake of your high school crush? That is what we're going
Ew.
to, yeah, that is what we're going to find out. So this comes from one of my favorite subreddits, which is Best of Redditor Updates. And it is, I, 25 male, have the chance to date my old high school crush, 25 female, but I'm engaged to my fiance, 24 female. What do I do? So
Good
This
Lord.
is buckle, strap in. Like we, what was it that we said in the Ghost of Mars? Buckle up. This is coming from red_earaches. And this came out on March 10th, 2024. So kind of recently within the last year. I had a crush on this girl, Carla, since middle school, going into high school, but she never paid me no mind. I left for the military and I met Sarah, who is a nurse and wants to become a doctor, nurse practitioner. Sarah was the usual type of girl I dated. I left the military to do contracting work and moved back to my home state. One day while I was getting drinks at the bar, Carla was my bartender. She didn't recognize me, but when I told her my name, she couldn't believe it. She said she couldn't believe how much I changed. I started to become a regular and eventually exchanged contact information with her to catch up. Throughout this time, she told me she had a crush on me, even though she knows I have a fiance. She said she likes how driven I am. Now I'm conflicted. She says that she will give me time to think about what I want to do. Me and my fiance are doing great, but I feel like she's normally the type of woman I always get. Carla, I never had the opportunity or thought I would. I don't want to hurt Sarah, but I feel like I would regret it forever if I don't pursue it. So that is the original post.
There's an update.
There is an update to this.
How does this work? Do you
Yeah, just your initial thoughts. I mean, to be honest, when I was reading, I had not kind of got this far.
Yeah.
Originally reading it, I got the heebie-jeebies because it's okay for you to be like, oh, I missed out. But if you have a fiance and you've taken it as far as to like being a regular at this woman's bar now, still having a fiance and entertaining this, I'm sorry, you're automatically cheating in my eyes. Like it's just,
Oh yeah, you're cheating.
It's just gross.
It reminds me of this story, and I know we all know it. Those 3 books, the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Do you remember those 3 books? And I don't remember which one it was from. I'll have to go check my box set later. But it was called The Drum. And it was about these 2 girls who went playing in the woods, and they came across this girl who had a drum where every time she beat on it, this little mechanical man and woman would dance out of it. So they made a deal with her. They'd go home and be bad per this girl's request, and they could get the drum. So they went home and acted up. Came back, told her what she did, and the girl had said, well, you got to be much worse than that. This happened like 2 or 3 or 4 times, to the point where when they came back after doing some really horrid things, the girl had said, I was just messing around. I didn't intend to ever give you this drum. And then they went home to find out that her mother had left them in the care of some old lady it's more story to that, of course, but the message being, when you do things like that for, the fruit of another, the grass is green on the other side thing, it's just not going to end well. Because my first immediate thought with this girl saying that she's giving him an ultimatum to make a choice or whatever, she's got bad intentions aside from the homewrecking aspect.
Yeah, most definitely. Like we see this a lot of times. Like one thing that's like really making the clips right now is Married at First Sight. They're doing Australia, and there's a big thing right now where there's been a couple matches. For those of you who don't know what Married at First Sight is, it's you sign up for this program, they match you with somebody, and you literally meet them when you're getting married. Like
dear Lord.
And then they go through this whole social experiment, and at the end they can choose to stay in the marriage or get it annulled. And they do like a big thing. But one of the things is there is a guy, 2 different guys who in their interviews because there's experts that match up these people, say they want somebody that matches the person that's in front of them. But then when they're presented with that person, they're not conventionally like what they think they would be attracted to. And they just crash out. They're like, I don't want this. I wanted the small, petite, blonde librarian. Where's that? And you look at the guy's tape and he's exactly what they gave him, which is somebody who's strong-willed and speaks her mind and different things like that. But they crashed out because they didn't match their physical expectations.
Mhm.
Is there like a specific science behind matchmaking? Like I'm curious. Let me look that up.
We do. You know what? The only matchmaker I would sort of believe is the one from Mulan, okay? They put a lot
Yeah,
of faith in that matchmaker, okay? They put a lot of
yeah,
faith in her, and she was dressed up pretty ridiculously, like with the corsets and everything. So she went through
yeah,
a lot of pain for that. So
yeah.
maybe like we might believe her. Or who was it? Patty Stanger that used to do the like millionaire matchups where she would like get the multi-million dollar client and then set him up with like whatever person they were looking for and stuff like that. She seemed to be okay. But yeah, it's just, so what direction do we think that this is going in for the update?
I'm a horror junkie, so immediately my thing goes into something just really bad. But uh, it sounds. I mean, I see bad things. I think he'll go with his old crush, and it's gonna end bad to the extent that she was like, "Yeah, screw you. If you're gonna leave your fiance for me, you're not somebody I want to be with," kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get screwed over. I think when somebody
yeah.
prioritizes their belief system behind somebody or how somebody used to be,
Right.
you're just setting yourself up for disaster.
Especially high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Who wants to
ew.
go?
Dude, one of my high school crushes turned out to be a deadbeat women beater kind of guy, and like, ew.
I don't
No.
see. I can't say that because my high school crush growing up, I would have gave it all up for Phantom of the Opera or Dracula. So I was the eyeball. Like I had parasocial relationships with Gerard Butler's character either way. So nothing was going to match up to that, especially in the very like pleasant, like Pleasantville kind of environment that I grew up in Sandusky, Ohio. So listen, I wasn't going to risk it for any of the football players or just general jackasses that I went to school with.
Well, I've
Like,
had like the more popular guys in like high school who didn't give me the time of day in high school, who later on, like in adult life, like messaged me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you lost?
yeah,
No,
I
I,
no.
I must have either blocked out my high school crush, or I didn't have one. Maybe I got friends on too bad. I just never want to think about it again because I can't think of anyone who uh, would hit me up like that.
I've had people since then, the surprising number of people now that I do what I do that like knew me in high school and kind of, I think maybe have selective memory, do
Mhm.
not realize how shitty they were to me,
Yeah.
that come up to me and are like, the podcast is going really good. I've caught everything. You're doing great, girl. Or like, this is,
Like,
I'm like, yeah.
Well, those users are your biggest supporters when you're crushing it.
Yeah, yeah, they really are. So,
I've had a lot of people like that in high school, like when I got clean, like that are just so supportive. Like, bro, like we didn't even like I appreciate your support, but like we're what? We're not cool. We weren't cool back then. We don't really have much in common. And no, I don't want to buy your vitamins.
yeah, or the girls that crash out because of the LuLaRoe leggings,
Yes,
or like the
yes,
all the pyramid scheme things, or hey girl, I'm
yes.
selling Tupperware now. Girl, listen, we weren't vibing like that in high school. I'm not buying
I
your Tupperware
know.
now.
Wait
I'm
a
like,
minute. So I
no.
shouldn't have sent money to Zelle for this kind of stuff. Now you're telling me. Thanks.
Next time I just need to be your business manager, Brewster.
Well, it's too little, too late for that. I just took out a third mortgage on the condo.
Ah, jeez. I could have saved you so many fees. It's okay. So update. This is the original name of the update when it was posted on the other subreddit. Um, the commenters in the original posting were all telling the OP to dump Sarah because she deserves someone better than a cheater like himself, and that he's going to regret his decision. So then the update title is I want my fiance back.
Well, we
This
knew
is
that was
All
April. Yeah, April 2nd, 2024. I broke her heart. I love Sarah so much. I stupidly called off the wedding to be with my old crush a few weeks ago. Throughout the couple weeks, Carla used me as a piggy bank. That's all I fucking was to her. I spoiled her, paid for her hair, nails, etc. I gave her everything. I found out she used the money I zelled her to buy a ticket for some guy to come see her. I'm sick to my stomach. I reached out to Sarah, but she feels betrayed and said she doesn't want to be anyone's sloppy seconds, but she's not. I love her and I needed to realize this.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yes. So OP insists through the comments throughout this that he loves Sarah and he just needed these past few weeks to remind him of it. Commenters just crashed him into the wall and said they don't buy it, and they were just laughing, made him a whole meme about it, and it was just it was bad.
I give
I
him
mean, that's
balls
what you get.
for going back and admitting that he messed up, or not admitting that he messed up, but for going to try and get sympathy. You know what I mean? Like, if that happened to me and I did something stupid, I'd just be like, well, I deserve that, and just kind of keep it to myself. Like, oh, it didn't work out. But he actually went on there looking for sympathy,
There's a lot of times where you will see people on Reddit that are not giving you the full story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they are going on and they are omitting certain details. For the most part, in a lot of different stories, they seem to be, but you come across the story that it seems like, okay, but why did that person have that reaction to you? And then you'll get certain stories where the other person that's part of the story then finds the story on Reddit and gives the whole entire scenario, and it's completely different than what you thought.
Bro, I bet she didn't even have sex with him.
Then he really got messed up, man.
and
he got played. He deserved it.
Oh yeah, he got screwed, and not in the good way either.
Yeah, if you're asking for a lot, I am high maintenance. Okay, I am high maintenance. I require a lot when it comes to a relationship, and I will say I am forever ruined for other people because I get treated absolutely superb in my relationship. Oh, where he does pay for my nails and different things like that. I would never treat him like that though. And when we first started dating, there's no way that I thought of him as a piggy bank. Now he actually went out like a couple weeks in and bought a bunch of stuff for Braden because his whole mentality was, listen, I'm buying into this. This is my kid now. I'm going to take care of him. And that's been his ideology the whole way through. But if somebody's asking you for that all up front, that's bullshit. I could barely get guys to buy me drinks, let alone dinner half the time, and settled for a lot of coffee dates. So that was red flag number one. And then getting Zelled money. I think we need to scale back a little bit on the requirements with dating.
Well, I feel like that is a requirement nowadays for women. Like, I've talked about it before. These women will want these men to be paying for them to get their nails done just to go on like a first date, or like just in the talking stage, like cash out me some money so I can get some lunch. Like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you a prostitute?
Some of them are just kind of built into that thing of like, they were spoiled by their parents and stuff, and they feel like it's that old saying that's I don't know who it was originally by, but if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And it's like,
it was Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, and they all fall back on stuff like, and I'm not saying all of them, of course. I'm new here, so but since we're talking about this particular thing, it's like, well, I did all this kind of stuff, but it's cool because if you can't, I was like, no, maybe if your worst wasn't that fucking bad, we wouldn't mind dealing with it. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no amount of good for that, and
I feel like there's just so many there's so many monetary requirements when it comes to dating, and also attraction based. Like I know for me, especially dating as a plus size woman, there are so many different landmines because there are people that will want you because you're cool and you're the cool girl and you have the personality and stuff, but then don't want to be seen with you because you are not conventionally attractive, even though you're an attractive person. So the variety of relationships that I've told you and Mary both, I could probably write a book on some really weird, crazy interactions. And a lot of people like associate that with, oh, well, that's just the time. Times have not changed. They have just gotten worse. And I'm sorry, if something ever happens to Jim, we're buying a Victorian mansion and we're turning into the Golden Girls. That's what's happening. Like, we'll get Dakota some land to be on there, and you guys can have your own wing, and I'll just be chilling over in the other side, and I'll be like, Dakota, we just have to do this, okay? You're my protection against all these crazy people. So he would be okay with it, because then him and Braden can go like ATV and do all kinds of crazy shit. So, but yeah, I can't. I cannot. I crash
I
out.
have just horror dating relationships prior to my husband, and how things are now. I'm good. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
haven't seen it all, I've heard it. And I've heard it
Yeah.
all. And I'm good.
Yeah. Now we just need to find somebody for Brewster.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Brewster has Mr. Beans.
I have
He's
the cat.
good. Yeah.
Buddy.
He has Mr. Beans, the cat. He'll make the appearance. So.
Yeah, he was here earlier. He's a freeloading asshole. He probably wants his treats now because he's an evil.
But no, I mean, it's just I have friends who are dating and getting back in, and I'm like, I don't envy you, man. Like, I tapped out at a good time. Like, I could not.
I don't. I do my own thing, and if I make friends along the way, that's cool. It's not worth the drama.
I don't blame you. That is the real horror story, unfortunately. Either you fall into something and it just happens out serendipitously, or you're good. So
it's just not worth the BS, because I could take up this whole show just going on about some of the BS. It's not worth it for me, I give you two credit for doing your thing, and anyone who wants to do it, but for me, I'm just happy just going with the flow,
Yeah, no, we understand 100%. We're both lucky in the regards that somehow, with all the crazy dating that we've had, we got scooped up by two really good people, and tapped out. So, because I literally was dating, I was in my dating process and deleted my dating apps when I met Jim. And then now we've been together almost 11 years. But I was like, this is just crap. I'm not doing this anymore. This fucking bullshit. And I'm literally on there like deleting. And Jim didn't even have pictures. He had 2 pictures of his tattoos, didn't have pictures of his face, anything like that. So apparently I was like, hey, this just seems like it's going to work out. I guess it did, because now we're here almost 11 years later. But that could have turned into a story about me being in a cooler somewhere.
Or basement.
Or on the black market. Who knows? Like, there's just so much of that now. So thank God I didn't, but it could have happened. So Kylie, are you ready to tell your story?
Yes. This is from also Best of Redditor Updates. The guy I'm dating, 36 male, has a shrine to my 37 female ex-husband in his house. I was married for 7 years to a celebrity. I put in quotes because while most of you have never heard of him, he's an A-list in the world of metal music. If you're a metalhead, you 100% know who he is. We split amicably because he was going on tour. I used to love going with him, but the thrill of it wore off and I found myself sick of traveling so much. Because of this, we grew apart, but still kept in contact occasionally because despite the fact our marriage didn't work, he is really cool and a nice person. 2 weeks ago, I met a guy through a friend that I immediately hit it off with. We have been on 3 dates so far. The first 2 were drinks after work. He showed up in nice khakis and a button down both times. On our latest date, I went to his house to watch a movie, and we are taking the physical stuff slow. He has a nice house, so I asked for a tour. After he showed me the upstairs, he said he had to show me his game room. We went down into a fully furnished basement with a pool table, a minibar, and darts. but there was something very weird down there also. Apparently, my new man is really into metal music, which never would have guessed based on how he dresses, lol. And his favorite artist of all time is, you guessed it, my ex-husband. He had framed posters of all my ex's bands, autographs, signature guitars. Every record he has ever released were framed on the walls. He even had magazine articles about him, some of his bands framed. Every wall in his game room was covered with my ex's face and his signature guitars. So I may have messed up here, but I kept my mouth shut and didn't say anything. He knows I'm divorced, but he definitely doesn't know who it's from, his idol. We are seeing each other tonight for our 4th date, and I know I need to tell him, but how? I really like this guy, but I'm afraid if I tell him, he will freak out and run. What should I say? Where should I tell him? I just don't want to damage our relationship because I can really see it becoming long term. I know I should have told him at his house, but honestly, I was in shock. Anybody know how to approach this?
I'm just gonna call this ahead of time. In the age of Google, I
feel
think
like
he
he knows.
already knows.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons he probably dated her. I'm just getting a strange tingling down my spine that a man who has that many posters of said person on the wall would have to know their dating history. Like,
Oh yeah.
I didn't even think
Oh, yeah.
about that. I'd never Googled anybody. Well, just for dating, you know?
I feel like in this day and age, you have to. I mean, I background checked Jim like 3 weeks in just to make sure. But I also had like my marriage really quickly, like when I was married to Braden's dad, I really could do a TikTok series right now about who the fuck did I marry, because at the time, the person I was married to, Braden's dad, biological father, he lied about his own daughter being alive, like said his daughter died and she actually lived in another state and was alive the whole time. So after being lied to on that level, I'm like, I need to know if the person that I'm dating has like drug convictions or has a body in their backyard. Like, I need to know up front because I can't just take anybody at their word anymore. So I background check, but like you definitely Google people, you know what I mean? Especially if like you're a fan of them, you would
Yeah.
know that their wife, like who their wife was, or you don't know how. So that to me seems like put the lotion in the basket kind of situation.
I'm going with Cass on this one. I
Yeah.
think it's going to end up like that Big Bang Theory where Amy was dating the guy who was in love with Sheldon, or in love with Sheldon's work. He was a big fan of his.
Oh God, that is true. Okay, Kylie, what's the update?
There isn't one.
There is.
Oh, shit.
I said this. Do you want me to do the update?
Yeah, do the update.
Okay. So I actually sent Kylie this story because Reddit was not working. And so Kylie's original Reddit stories will be on our next one. But there actually is an update. So
Oh.
it was down at the bottom. So after going back and forth between people in the comment section, she decides that she's getting kind of frightened from things. People are saying kind of the same things we were. And so this happens 8 days later. And this comes from 2019. So this has been a couple years. Well, after getting a huge range of answers, some of which were kind of frightening, I decided to give the new guy the benefit of the doubt and go ahead with our dinner date that night, our 4th date. So I met him at the restaurant. We had some wine first. We were just talking and chatting, and I realized that I had to bring up the ex-husband thing. So while we were both 2 glasses of wine in, I decided to just ask him flat out if he knew I was previously married to his favorite musician. He laughed nervously and said, "Yes, I knew it, but my friend didn't tell me." I figured it out. He told me essentially that he found out through the grapevine and he decided to start mingling with my friends so he could meet me. He told me that yes, at first it was just because I was married to his idol, but that now he is really developing feelings for me.
Oh my
I think this is going to go a little left. I thought it was a little odd, but I felt fine with it until I remembered his man cave basement. I asked him if he knew I was married to his favorite musician, then why the fuck would he bring me down there to show me all of the memorabilia? His response was too weird for me. He said, I was trying to see if you would confess. I was like, confess to what? And he said to me, being married to my ex. I told him that I thought it was pretty concerning that he tried to trick me into some weird confession and that I didn't think we would work out. He accepted it and didn't seem upset or anything. Dinner had already been served, so we both started eating when he proceeded to bombard me with questions about my ex. When is he releasing new material? What is his favorite band? What does he do during the last day of a show? Is he vegan? What is his mother's maiden name? Okay, so I made that last one up, lol. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, he could sense my discomfort and we ended the dinner and parted ways. He said he would text me the next day just as friends, which I said was okay. Well, his text the next day was trying to get him and his friends VIP passes when my ex was coming to play near us. I did not respond. I blocked his number because he kept texting me again and begging me for the hookup. It was desperate and weird. Anyways, I called my ex to warn him about this dude, even though he seems heartless. He doesn't know where I live, and I didn't get any psycho vibes. I think he just wanted me as a trophy, as some user put in my last post. Ew, thanks, Reddit.
I really want to know what band.
That's why.
Right?
There were a lot of people trying to figure it out in the comments. They didn't really discern who it was. So, but has to be somebody huge to have like that much memorabilia, you know what I mean? But to go from being like, oh, I knew that, but I fell in love with you and I really think this could be something.
Oh, it's full of shit.
Then crashing out and then being like, well, I'm going to find out everything I possibly can, to then be like, hey, can I get the hookup for those passes?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it had been a normal girl who had not been with his idol or whatever, would you really want your girl calling your ex for a hookup on tickets?
I don't know. Some guys are weird. No offense, Brewster.
You're fine. I agree with you. I agree with you.
That to me is a little weird. Like if you're dating somebody, like I could never. I just couldn't.
It goes into the thing. That's a lot of people these days, and that's one of the things I learned about a year ago. Is just that a lot of people just use you for what you can offer them and stuff. You know, so that's not surprising to me that someone would try doing that, especially if it was because my first thoughts goes it's someone from Metallica because all those guys are divorced or currently married but have been divorced. But it doesn't shock me at all that somebody would go that far to Google search and to use them for something. You know, I mean, that's kind of how my solo adventure started about a year ago. I mean, no one was using me for VIP tickets, but just being used and stuff, you know? So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it's just
I kind of think it was Metallica too.
Or like it could have been somebody like Bret Michaels or something like that because he's been married multiple times but he's not like he's more hard rock, right?
That's 80s glam. I mean,
it's more like hair glam rock.
I'm not dissing it. I'm a hair metal junkie, you know. My feet are cemented in the 80s, so.
Well, I saw Bret Michaels over the summer, so that's why I thought he was there because he came for Bike Week. We have Bike Week in Sandusky, and they play a lot of those big. I'll have to let you know this year who the person is because it's always like free too. We went and we listened to it, but it was but it just makes me think it's got to be somebody like that, like a Bret Michaels or a Metallica or somebody big that used to be big back in the day that's still big now and is kind of having a resurgence again. But they said it's alternative rock or metal rock. So it would have to be somebody, I don't know, for Kylee and I, that would be like alternative rock is different now because we're thinking like Bad Omens, Sleep Token, like those are kind of the big ones now, like Sleep Theory, all of those guys. Like I just can't
I really wish I knew like an age of them.
Yeah.
Then we might be able to narrow it down.
When we decode it, we will let you know in the comments what it was. But this is just crazy. I'm just gonna make a PSA for all of us here at the Horrorcraft Podcast. If you message us and ask us for the hookup, we don't have the hookup, guys.
We don't have hookups.
We don't have the hookup. Like, I don't have shits.
Okay? Oh, well, I'm signing off then. I mean,
if I have the hookup, it's already spread between my friends. Like, the only thing I offer at this point to my co-host is my extensive voodoo library that I have all of the new movies.
All your streaming, bro.
Yeah. That pretty much, I mean, that streams for us, but yeah, no, don't do this. This is bad. Like, this is what guy is going to be like, yeah, I'll give that guy that's dating my ex-wife passes. Like, yeah. that musician's not going to do that. So
it's 2025, man. People are into some weird shit.
Well, as we conclude this story, this is one of the wildest Reddit stories I have ever fucking heard. I heard this as part of, for those of you who don't know, I am neurotic and I need help sleeping at night. So a lot of times when I go to sleep, I turn on Smosh or like different ones that do the Reddit stories, because a lot of times I can focus in on whatever they're talking about. And normally I fall asleep like first story. And I do that pretty routinely. I put on the most recent, well, the most recent one that came out was about weddings, but the one before it was family drama. I heard this story and I stayed up for a fucking hour after listening to this because my brain could not fucking compute how we got from here to way fucking over in California.
We're going to California.
Road trip.
We listen, this just, I don't know. I will say that this probably holds title for one of the craziest fucking stories I've ever heard in my life. And how we get there is just crazy. So this really is one to buckle in. So for those of you who kind of are going to get lost when I say the title, it's going to bring it back in the end to our subject matter. So don't worry, we're going to get there. But it's going to be a Disney-filled fucking ride full of surprises. So this is from Best of Redditor Updates. Am I the asshole for taking my daughter to Disneyland?
Okay.
So this is from Fearless Opening 5181. This is from 2023. I kind of already think I'm not, but my family is convincing me that I am the asshole. I, 28 female, went on a vacation with my daughter, 5 female, and my husband, 29 male, as a last vacation before we were a family of 4. I'm 7 months pregnant, and we wanted to spend time with our daughter before her brother was born. When I was around 17, me, my mom, my dad, and my little brother went on a Disneyland vacation. It was fun and all until my dad left his phone in the hotel and they wouldn't give it back to us. He had to get a new one, and my mom and dad were so upset that we never went back. I thought this was irrational since it was my mom's favorite place that we went at least once a year growing up. After the whole ordeal, my mom hated it. So when me and my husband wanted to go on a vacation before my baby arrives, we decided to go to Disneyland for around 3 days. My daughter loves the princesses, and the idea of the magic was great. So when we told her, she was overjoyed. I told my mom when we were at lunch together that we were going on the trip. When I told her it was Disneyland, she became enraged. I was extremely confused because I thought she forgot about it, honestly. She called me a backstabber and just really rude words. She stormed out of the restaurant and I paid and left a few minutes later. A few hours later, my dad called me and screamed at me that this family doesn't go to Disney. If you weren't such a spoiled little bitch, you would understand that. I was shocked. It was my money I was spending, and I thought everyone was over it. My mom texted me a long paragraph about how she would go no contact and wouldn't be my mother anymore if I still went. The trip was fully paid for, so I responded, okay, I guess you only have a son now. And I blocked her. I've gotten at least 60 calls from my family and a few texts telling me I'm wrong. We still went and got back yesterday. We had a blast, and my daughter rode her first big girl roller coaster. She loved every minute of it. So in my opinion, it was all worth it. So am I the asshole?
I feel like there's something more that went on.
Well, what did we say earlier about you always you're only getting one side of the story?
Like, did the dad not leave his phone? Maybe did he sleep with one of the housekeepers of the hotel, maybe? And mom caught him?
So we'll just get into this. So
yeah.
So the first edit is, whoa, posted this around 2 hours ago and have gotten a lot of comments. First of all, thank you for all the not the asshole. I was kind of scared that I was going to get attacked. I think once I get home, I'm going to unblock my mom and ask if we can meet up. We haven't spoken since all this happened. Hoping we can meet up for lunch and we can talk. Also, I've been seeing a lot of comments where people think something way bigger happened. I can't remember anything else happening, though. I'm going to ask, and when we talk, I'll keep you posted. By the way, I'm in a call, and I don't get off work until 5 or 5:30ish. Once I get off and get home, I will talk to my mom. I've seen a lot of people wanting an update, so I'll try and get one soon. Holy shit, LOL. I truly did not expect this to go viral. I'm getting ready for work and just wow. So last night I unblocked my mom and messaged her and basically said, I want to talk. And I know our last fight was really messy, but I want to meet up for lunch and talk. She responded. She said, yes, and we're meeting up today. My dad is also coming because I want an apology for him for what he called me. Yeah, because he called her a fucking bitch. Like, what the hell? I can't even process the phone call that happened. I want to get answers as fast as possible because I've seen so many comments saying this wasn't over a phone. I have really bad memory, and this was 15 years ago, but I remember most of it because the whole situation was very messy. I will definitely be updating you guys after lunch. I've also seen people saying my parents might not like Disney because they are more liberal. I don't think that's the reason, though. 15 years ago, though, was really different as well. I'll ask that when we meet up, but I don't see that as a real reason. I've also seen people saying it's really unreasonable to go no contact or very limited contact because of this, which I agree with. I think she was just saying that to scare me, which is still very gross because we still went and she messaged me back. So I guess we will just see. My husband also might come with me because I don't know how my parents will react when I ask them the questions. They know we still went, so I'm not scared, but I can't be sure. I'll update you as soon as the lunch. So now this is the final update, and the lunches happen. Well, here it is, fellas. Our final update. Around 1 p.m. yesterday, we went to lunch. My husband didn't come because he had a very important meeting at his work. I wasn't scared anyways because we were going to a pretty popular restaurant. It wasn't like I would be alone with them, so I got there and I sat down. I started talking to my mom and dad and started asking my questions. It was mostly just, why did you get so mad? And it's my money, and I wanted to make my daughter have a fun vacation with her parents before she has a brother. And I was met with them gaslighting me and thinking because they don't love Disney, I can't go. I was on the verge of tears and leaving. So my final question I asked, really wanted an answer on. This can't be over a fucking phone. There has to be something going on to make you blow up like this. They then told me what really happened. So my dad did actually leave his phone in the hotel room. When housekeeping went to clean the room for the next family to arrive, the woman who was cleaning took the phone and took it to Lost and Found. She saw my mom's contact on dad's little smartphone and called her. and we went to go back and pick it up. But the woman also saw another contact that said, "Baby, my dad was cheating on my mom for a good year to a year and a half. She told my mom, and my mom blamed that woman for ruining her marriage by telling her. That's why they hated Disney, because it ruined their marriage. I walked out after that. I didn't pay either. I don't think I'm going to be talking to them after this, only if my daughter and son want to. They betrayed my trust, and I never apologized either for what they said to me a few days ago. I don't know why we never got the phone back. Probably will never know, but here is the official ending to this crazy ass story."
Knew it.
Called it.
Yeah, so the housekeeper found Dad's phone, took it to Lost and Found, but found out that Dad was cheating, told Mom about it, and instead of Mom getting mad at Dad, which she still did, fully blamed the housekeeper in Disney for telling her about the cheating within her marriage. So that's why they boycotted Disney for 15
my husband
years.
cheated on me.
Yeah.
Why the housekeeper get involved though? I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe that's just me. I just don't have time for that stuff. So you know what I mean.
I will say, as a woman, if I had saw that, I would tell another woman.
Yeah.
I not even just if it doesn't, it's genderless, okay? If somebody that I know is cheating on another person, I'm sorry, I'm gonna snitch. You owe more loyalty to that person than to do something like that. Number one. Number two, sexually transmitted diseases are abound, and we already know how that can happen. And number three, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So if this person not only is cheating on the other person, but then there's other things going on behind, this person needs to cut and run. But I have no loyalty to somebody when they act like that. I'm sorry. To me, even if it's somebody I don't know, like the only time, if I'm in a business and somebody's girlfriend called and they put like they're paying for something and they have a wife, listen, I don't get paid enough to tell you that information, okay? I'll just maybe breadcrumb you a little bit. You can find that out, but if I know like personally, or if it's that situation, yeah, I tell him, listen, I don't get paid enough to keep your secrets. You want to slide me more money? Maybe we'll talk about it then. But until then, I am a lowly housemaid, and your man cheated in Disney.
It's a magical place on
going
earth.
through someone's phone like that.
That's also weird.
Well, because it was we got to think this was 15 years ago. These were smartphones back then. They were the little flip phones, or the little Nokia phones, the slide up ones and stuff like that. Those were very easy to see things. I remember having one of those, and it would flash and tell you who it was, right? It's not like how our phones are now, where, something just pops up, and then if you don't see it at that point in time, it's just a notification, and then your phone's locked. So it's different.
She's probably looking to see whose phone it was and came across that stuff.
And yeah, and also too, at the
end
of the day,
the housekeeper probably was a woman who's been cheated on,
or she probably maybe was like, listen, this could be, we're at Disney. You don't know, they're Disney nannies. This has been a thing for a really long time, where people get hired to go out there and help with Disney. You don't know if he's not boinking the Disney nanny, and that's a whole situation. So,
or she may have called the contact baby first.
Yeah, because she might have thought it was their other phone.
Yeah.
Or that person's, you know what I mean?
I'm still stuck on the Disney nanny thing. I never heard about that.
Yeah, there's actually a whole thing on TikTok now. There are people that do it, but there's like companies that will literally, like, you pay them to come and be at Disney the whole day with you and your family and your kids, or they stay at the hotel, or they come out with you and then they take the kids back and you can go. But yeah, it's like a whole business, side business thing. So also too, you don't know, like, this could be somebody that's on the trip with them. They're getting a free trip, and then they're also boinking your husband at the same time. So then that's insult to injury. Like, you never know. But just the fact that, like, you call your own daughter a bitch. And like,
it's nothing. My dad tells me all the time I should have been a blowjob.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed at that.
I laugh at it all the time.
I mean, I have a horrible father too that probably wishes.
Oh, my dad's I just, that's how our family is. We razz each other. I'm sure that doesn't surprise either of you, having seen my Facebook posts.
No, not at all. No. But no, I mean, like, listen, my dad and I don't have the greatest relationship.
I'm sorry.
But I would say he knows at least, and maybe this is because strong women run my family. Anybody who's met me knows this. My grandmother is the head BIC in charge. Wilma would fly over a tabletop and karate chop my dad in the throat if he said something inappropriate to me. So
my dad would never have called me a bitch. He called my mom a bitch, but she was. God rest both of their souls, but he would never know.
No. So that to me, but like, you blame Disney for your husband. The call is coming from inside the house.
Place in the world.
Yeah, like it's not like Mickey Mouse personally cheated. Like, it's not like you caught your wife with a Mickey Mouse. Like,
it's not like Goofy was giving her the Moana. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, I mean, like, but I just could not believe, like, you threatened to go no contact, and it's because you cheated on your wife and blamed Disney for it, and now your daughter, who's pregnant, was taking her child there as like a delivery vacation, like baby moon.
Yeah.
And you have a problem with it because you couldn't keep your pants, it in your pants 15 years ago. Like,
it sounds like there's a lot more issues, a lot more underlying issues than just that.
Oh yeah, there has to be.
I feel like she did enough. She got the information and she left. So listen, she needed to have the child with no complications. So I feel like just leave. Just leave. Don't look back and keep going to Disney. At this point, Disney needs to be giving them like PR trips for how much PR Disney is getting through this trip, because so many people are gonna be like, well, fuck that, Dad, I'm gonna go to Disney. Like,
some might be looking for the Disney nannies though, you know.
They might. There are stricter rules with Disney nannies though, so who knows the lengths but I have never heard a story take that big of a turn on Reddit. So after I listened to that, I sat awake for like a whole hour afterwards, and I'm like, okay, 1 + 1 = 2, and
I gotta get on Reddit. I'm missing all the good stories.
Oh, you really are. So, but yeah, no. So if you want to check any of these stories out for yourself, please look at the description down below. We are going to tag where you can find Brewster as well. And check us both out on Talkin Tapes for the collective. We have a good time. We have a lot of expressions and a lot of feelings about different episodes and different things. So it's always a fun ride. And it's just a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Brewster, for coming on and doing this.
Thank you for having me. It was great talking with you, ladies.
We loved having you. So we're going to wrap this up by talking about our favorite thing in horror this week. Kylie, do you want to go or do you want me to take it?
I'll go.
Okay.
Yellowjackets is back.
Did you finally get some of the answers in the first episode that you wanted? Okay.
No, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Tomorrow's Friday, so it'll be a new episode. But I think it's going to be a good season. I do. Also, I really love they did this with Dexter Original Sin. Like the season premiere, they put out like 2 episodes. I've never seen like a show on any other platform like doing that, but Showtime, and I like it.
We dig it. I was still trying to get past the
Me
first
too.
episode. Yeah, Kylie's gonna revoke my friendship card if I don't.
I'm gonna revoke your horror card is what I'm gonna do.
Girl, you can't do that. I've been clutching onto that since
That's a little harsh, Kylie. I'm not trying to jump in, but I mean, it's a little harsh, you know.
She's bothered by cannibalism, bro. And like the shit she's made me watch is like Bermuda tentacles. Bermuda tentacles.
I
So
knew you
Cannibal
were gonna do that.
Holocaust is a no-go for
Bro,
kids.
they eat each other because they have to survive.
I know. I think it was just because I had like come off of watching The Substance. And
Oh,
like,
that was awesome.
yeah, and I think it was just like the mouth feels of like that the when they eat the person in the first episode, and you kind of, I think I was like, okay, after seeing, and
Well,
The
they don't
Substance was,
have one like in The Substance.
I know, but I think it was because that scene with Dennis Quaid, it's supposed to be as impact, but that scene with him and him being as gross as he was, it just kind of brought me
I'm
back to
thinking
that.
about it.
Yeah, so I think that's what kind of was the block for me. But you know what? It's fine. I unblocked myself because I went back, I touched grass, I watched a couple of B horror movies, so I'm ready to go for Yellowjackets. So Yellowjackets, I'm coming for you this weekend. So speaking of that rolls into my favorite thing this week in horror. So I'm always looking for crazy stuff that I have not watched when it comes to horror. I wouldn't say this is necessarily crazy either, but I watched The Wraith, which had Randy Quaid and Charlie Sheen.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I own that on digital. That ending is depressing as all hell.
The ending, yeah.
I don't want to say on camera. I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah. So I really loved it. It was kind of like if Christine and Sometimes They Come Back and a bunch of other movies were rolled into one. If you haven't watched it, it's about this gang that is suspected of killing somebody. It's whether or not they did or didn't, but they're terrorizing people, and this car shows up out of nowhere and is coming after each one of them. And there is a ton of horror people in it. And it's just like the ice cream. I'm trying to think of
right?
Clint Howard, who plays the ice cream man, is in it. There's just a lot of people that, like, if you blink, you miss it. But it's just that, like, kind of nostalgia, just B movie, like, yeah. And I enjoyed it. So it's on Amazon Prime. The reason it was suggested to me is if you did not see our post on Talkin Tapes, Monsters, which we have been watching on YouTube, is now currently on Amazon Prime as well. So if you watch one of our episodes of Monsters and you want to watch it and you would prefer to watch it, sometimes when we're watching it on YouTube, it cuts out a little bit and stuff. If you want to watch the whole thing, Monsters is now on Amazon Prime. So I suggest watching our video and then going back and watching the actual episode yourself. So, but I really enjoyed it, and it made me want to look out for other maybe weird out there, not as highly advertised movies. So I've just been kind of rolling through a bunch of them. And I highly suggest it. It's wintertime. Like, we literally have nothing to do. Go watch a B movie.
You could have joined me at that vampires or the Love Sucks vampire thing last Friday. Look, I always spend Valentine's Day with my hubby.
Well, I feel like I'm contractually like.
I'm just messing with you.
I know. Listen, if it was closer, also too, I don't like clubs.
Well, that's right. You're out in fucking. You're not close to that.
Yeah, I'm in Norwalk.
There we go.
Yeah, where the water sprouts. Take me out, Kylie.
Is it spouts or sprouts?
It's spouts, but I was just making fun of you calling it sprouts. So, Brewster, is there anything that you found particularly awesome in horror? And all the trailers that are coming out, that Clown in a Cornfield one just came out today. Highly suggest going and watching it.
I haven't had a chance to watch the trailer yet, but I guess there's one with Edward Furlong coming out. Let me find the title of it.
Yes.
It's there's actually Be Unspeakable Beyond the Walls of Sleep, which is like a sequel to the Deep Ones and the Old Ones, but they're by the same director. It's Cthulhu based.
Ooh.
And where at here? No, I'm sorry, it's Lovecraft films, and we're all about that shit. So I just found that out today. I haven't had a chance to watch the trailer yet, though, but I'm gonna try and catch that. And me and my buddy plan on watching all three of them back to back because we're nerds. Past that, I think we're all excited for The Monkey tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
So that'll probably be my excitement for the week. I'm seeing that the Monday, the Atlas $6 movie thing. But
Yeah.
I remember reading the book or the short story when I was a kid, and I always loved that one.
I'm very excited for it. I probably will be going this Tuesday coming up when we have our bargain. But I just think it looks like a lot of fun. Like it's kind of like the best parts of Final Destination, but in such a weird and different. And Kylee was the first of us that saw Longlegs. And obviously this is also by Osgood Perkins. And I just think anything that he's doing from now on, we're all just going to be like here for it because he's got such a good, I mean, he's the son of Anthony Perkins, who was Norman Bates. He saw, Alfred Hitchcock at his prime, and he knows a lot of horror greats. So I feel like we're going to see a lot more from him. And I also really want to see a lot more from Theo James in horror, who plays the titular character. I think he does well. He did great when Underworld came back and he was one of the main characters. And I know that's more horror adjacent, but like that man needs to be just covered in blood like 24/7. So let's keep pumping up the numbers. Come on. Let's just keep doing it. So I'm just excited. It seems like this is going to be another good year for horror. The Clown in the Cornfield one, that is a book. And it is like a preteen, like teen book. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from it. I'm going to be reading it. But it looks insane. Like the clown's name is Friendo, and he's just off murdering people. So highly suggest you watching it. We'll put it in the description down below. But thank you so much, Brewster, for coming on. Thank you,
always.
Kylee, for showing up. She's just the greatest spooky mom. Let's give a round of applause for Kylee. Like this woman is like freshly less than 2 months ago, she gave birth to a child. Her child has only been home for a month and has had tons of different things going on. And she still shows up and shows out. She did her whole entire pregnancy too, doing everything. So like snaps for Kylee. We're just super excited. Mary,
much sleep lately, but it's fine.
Yeah, if Kylee, it's fine. It's fine. If you want to send something to Kylee, send her many cases of Bloom Nutrition energy drinks. We'll just keep pushing them her way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's keeping us alive and looking good. Both of us. But to Mary, we hope you're feeling well. She'll be back next week. Pneumonia is no joke. Please, everyone, take care of themselves. So until next time, it's me, Cass, and
Kylee.
And we'll see you next time. Stay spooky. Bye.
Bye.